Hello, welcome to InfoHub Recap, where we focus on the top issues for the past week. In our headlines, Guyana presents its case to the International Court of Justice. 2 former PPP government officials charged, efforts underway to ease overcrowding at Georgetown Indigenous Hostel, and economy expands by 2.1%. Stay tuned for the details of these and more.
Here's an important message from the Ministry of Finance and the Guyana Revenue Authority.
If you've never filed or paid your taxes, or have deliberately not declared your true income, and now you're worried that you'll be audited by the Guyana Revenue Authority, I have good news for you.
The Ministry of Finance has announced a tax amnesty effective January 1 to September 30, 2018.
So you can now pay all your outstanding income, property, corporate, withholding, and capital gains taxes and get right with the GRA. Visit their office or call them at 227-6060, extension 1201 or 1204 today.
Invest in your country. Pay your taxes.
We begin with the news that President David Granger on Wednesday accredited the new diplomatic representatives of Thailand and Pakistan to Guyana.
Letters of credence were presented to the head of state by the Ambassador Extraordinaire and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Thailand and the new High Commissioner of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to Guyana. The new Pakistani High Commissioner commended the government for its political maturity and looks forward to collaborating to boost economic development.
The government of Pakistan has made unstinted efforts to create a peaceful external environment so that the core national objective of economic development is robustly advanced. Building a peaceful neighborhood is central to the realization of this vision. We in Pakistan are closely watching the political maturity and economic growth in your beautiful country.
Guyana and Pakistan have shared relations since 1967. President Granger says he looks forward to working with Pakistan to strengthen Guyana's green economy drive.
Guyana, in this regard, welcomes the ratification of the Paris Agreement. Guyana is happy also to learn that the Ministry of Climate Change of Pakistan has started a project with the Pakistan Environmental Protection Agency titled Geomatic Center for Climate Change and Sustainable Development. That project encourages the application of satellite remote sensing, geographical information systems, and geographical positioning systems technologies in environmental monitoring and decision-making. Guyana looks forward to learning about the application of these technologies from Pakistan.
The head of state pointed out that Guyana and Thailand share the common threat of climate change. President Granger added that he looks forward to learning from the nation on how to become a better green economy.
We can learn from each other's experience in building climate resilient economies. It is our expectation that your accreditation today will act as a catalyst to promote enhanced cooperation and collaboration.
Both of the diplomatic representatives will be based in Brasilia, Brazil. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
The International Court of Justice is to determine legality of Venezuela's claims to Guyana's territory. Paul McAdam has more.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Kyle Greenidge said the matter filed by himself and lawyers representing the people and the government is expected to resolve the more than 50-year-old controversy following the failure of the United Nations Good Officer process.
In fact, it is a success because we have managed to ride that mechanism that the SG decided to take up. And having ridden the mechanism, we came out at the end at the point where we wanted, which is, can we now go to a situation in which somebody looks at Venezuela's claim and says yes or no? The claim is right, the claim is wrong, the claim is nonsense, the claim is justified. At the end of that process, a decision will be made. Is the 1899 agreement null and void? Okay? And that is the decision. That's what we've always wanted. Burham would have been very happy if he could have arrived at this point.
Minister Greenidge noted that the controversy had its origins in an agreement signed between Guyana and Venezuela with the help of Britain in the quest for this nation's independence.
That agreement left us in a situation where the Venezuelans were able to dance, if you like, in between the raindrops for over 51 years and avoid a resolution of the matter. That is the heart of the problem. So having signed that agreement, whatever the agreement says, and it certainly makes no mention of the Essequibo, it makes no mention of the transfer of land, it makes no mention of Venezuela's rights within the borders identified in 1899.
Following the closure of the good officer process, Ghana was cleared to file its case with the ICJ for determination of the legality of claims being made by Venezuela with regards to territory currently occupied and recognized internationally as belonging to Guyana. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge disclosed that the International Court of Justice case to settle the Ghana-Venezuela border controversy may be protracted. Here is Stefan Gabriel.
Minister Greenidge, at a press briefing yesterday, called on the media and citizens to show restraint and understanding of the issues involved.
It's a long process, and the public must know that. It's a difficult process.
Vice President Greenidge further explained that the matter before the ICJ represents many firsts and must therefore be approached with care.
This is the first time that a referral to the court has gone from the SG in this way, and therefore there are a number of firsts, as it were, and therefore we can't anticipate all the possible deviations or reactions.
Additionally, Minister Greenidge added that the case's settlement could take between 2 and 6 years. He also outlined the possible financial implications.
50 million may be more than is needed. For the moment, that is what it is. And the Cabinet's decision was that as the need arises each year, the money will be transferred to the consolidated account fund from the current account, from the special account in which it is held, to meet the estimated expenditure on the lawyers in that given year.
Following the expiration of the United Nations Good Officer process, Guyana received clearance to take its border controversy with Venezuela to the International Court of Justice for adjudication. The case has since been filed by Foreign Affairs Minister Greenidge and lawyers representing the government of Guyana. For InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
The recent move by the Mellon National Bank of the United States of America to partner with the local Citizens Bank was hailed as a sure sign of investors' confidence in Guyana by State Minister Joseph Harmon. The minister made these remarks at the opening of the bank's DIH $110 million vehicle workshop over the weekend. More in this report.
The move by Mellon Bank to establish relations with Citizens Bank is happening at a time when the Financial Action Task Force and the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force are taking steps at curbing and reducing relations between international banks and those in the region.
It's a sure sign that we are doing something that is right. It is this confidence, Mr. Chairman, that has motivated American Airlines to announce the commencement of service from the United States of America to Guyana.
Minister Harmon said the investment by Banks DIH in the establishment of a wastewater treatment plant and a waste plastic treatment facility at a new vehicle workshop is also another sign of its confidence in the investment climate of Guyana.
Guyana is the right place to invest. And I am proud that our private sector is beginning to embrace that reality. I am proud that Banks DIH, as a leading member of the private sector, continues to invest and continues to invest in Guyana.
In recognition that clean and reliable power generation was a critical input to the company's production facilities, Co-Managing Director of Banks DIH, George McDonald, said the company in 2004 embarked on the installation of specialized generation facilities.
While we are generating our own power, we are also actively pursuing the development of alternative energy to reduce the dependency on the use of fossil fuels in the long term as we work to reduce the carbon footprint.
The $110 million vehicle workshop measures 36,000 square feet. According to the co-manager, it made logistical sense for the company to invest since the Thirst Park no longer has adequate space. It was declared officially opened with a ceremonial cutting of the ribbon by Minister Harmon. Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson, Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Power and Light Company Albert Gordon, Chairman of Banks DIH, Clifford Rees, and other members of the private sector and diplomatic community were in attendance. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Over the next 2 weeks, members of the country's lead security agencies will undergo intense training in the areas of fraud, anti-corruption and bribery as the first financial investigation and anti-corruption training seminar got underway.
The training is funded by the Government of the United Kingdom through the Special Advisor attached to the Special Organised Crime Unit, Dr. Sam Sitlington. British High Commissioner Greg Quinn said there is no place for corruption within the security forces.
Not only is it the right thing to do, but as the funders of this and other training, it is what the British government expects. There is no place for corruption within the security agencies in Guyana. If official or if individuals cannot work with honesty and integrity, then they should be drummed out, prosecuted and imprisoned as necessary.
The High Commissioner reiterated the UK's commitment to assist Guyana in the security sector reform with the hosting of the seminar building on what has already been accomplished under the British expert on crime and security Colonel Russell Combe. Colonel Combe will be returning to Guyana sometime this week to serve as Senior Security Sector Reform Advisor to President David Granger. He will serve for 1 year. Since assuming office, the government has been tackling corruption at all levels, and this was highlighted by Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams.
From the outset of our government, we declared war against corruption in all its forms. And financial crimes were added to the remit of SOCO, whose primary responsibility is combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and now proliferation financing. Forensic audits have led to many criminal investigations and charges for fraud, for the stealing or purloining of state assets. But financial crimes investigatory framework requires greater capacity building.
He added that corruption must be exposed and the anti-corruption laws enforced. 14 officers of SOCO, 9 from the Criminal Investigations Department, 2 from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, 1 from the Financial Intelligence Unit, and 4 from the State Assets Recovery Authority will benefit from the training. 2 UK experts are conducting the sessions. Combined, they have over 60 years of experience in handling cases of anti-money laundering and fraud. Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan and Police Commissioner Acting David Ramnarine were also in attendance. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
35 medical health personnel are being trained to provide drug treatment and drug prevention services in Guyana.
The training is being provided by the Organization of American States, OAS, in collaboration with the University of West Indies and the local Ministry of Public Health through a program called PROXER. OAS country representative explains.
PROXER Caribbean is the first regionally based approach to training and certification, and also the first to juxtapose the prevention and treatment tracks. The skills you are about to acquire will qualify you to make a vital contribution to the improvement of your country. With the treatment toolkit, you will touch the life of people in desperate need of assistance as they struggle with addiction.
The program will last for a period of 19 days, after which the 35 practitioners will be certified to improve the quality of treatment services made available for persons with drug addiction issues. Director of the Mental Health Unit, Dr. Util Richmond Thomas, reminded the practitioners of the prevailing conditions.
All of you as practitioners may have realized that by now, alcohol and substance abuse is tightly interwoven with all the mental health disorders and maladies that plague our society. As a matter of fact, the psychiatrists and the staff at the National Psychiatric Hospital and the Georgetown Public Hospital will tell you that more than 70% of the admissions are dual diagnosis, alcohol and substance abuse.
This is a step taken by the Ministry of Public Health to reduce the scourge of mental abnormalities relating to drug addiction. The trained specialists are expected to be agents of hope to persons with drug addiction issues, bringing change to lives of individuals and families throughout Guyana.
For Info Hub, Delicia Haynes.
Public Health Minister Valdo Lawrence on Monday chided Public Accounts Committee members for introducing extraneous matters to the committee's functions at its sittings. Paul McAdam has the details.
During its sitting yesterday to examine the Auditor General Deodat Sharma's reports regarding Regional Democratic Councils 5 and 6, Minister Lawrence called on the PAC to remain focused on its mandate.
Mr. Chair, I wish that we can really zero in at Public Accounts Committee on those matters that will bring about changes within the various agencies. These are systemic issues. Go way back.
Minister Lawrence also objected to PAC member Juan Edgil attempting to introduce matters which were unrelated to the substantive reports of the Auditor General before the committee. The opposition MP had suggested that appropriations were being made with inaccurate information from the regions.
If the member feels that way, then the procedure is for him to either take a question to the National Assembly or he can carry a matter so that it can be debated.
Another committee member, Nigel Dharamlal, also came in for flack from Minister Lawrence when he suggested that her approach supported sweeping matters under the table.
I have been a chair of this Public Accounts Committee, and there has never been a time when the Public Accounts Committee has done its work in full collaboration with both sides of this House. And I say it without fear of contradiction, because we focus on the issues. We saw it as a national issue, and we had to address it so that we can make the accountability within every agency in our country done in accordance with the rules and the regulations.
The main duty of the Public Accounts Committee, the PAC, is to examine the accounts showing the appropriation of the sums granted by the Assembly to meet public expenditure. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
According to the Guyana Rice Development Board, the 2018 first crop paddy production is set to surpass its original target. Here is Stefan Gabriel with the details.
With reports of higher yields from farmers' cultivation, over 530,000 tons of paddy is projected to be produced. This is up 9% from the 488,833 tons initially projected for the 2018 first crop. Guyana Rice Development Board General Manager Nizam Hassan.
Thus far to date, we've seen excellent performance in the first crop of 2018 for first rice crop. To date, we have harvested over 59% across the country, and we have seen an increase in yields. Yield increases have moved from 2 bags per acre to as much as 9 bags per acre. This has been really good for the farmers. They have also been receiving higher prices for their production.
As of April 8, 2018, 51,280 hectares of the 87,539 hectares, which is equivalent to 4.9 million bags of paddy, has been harvested. The general manager said that this production increase bodes well for the industry.
This fares very well for the sector, very well for the industry, because we've been getting increases in terms of inquiries and increased opportunities to market our products. All of the production, the increased production that we have seen, has been committed to market, which is a good thing for our producers and the business persons involved in the sale. All of the production has been committed to the market, so we are able to fulfill our markets.
Thus far, regions 2, 3, 4, and 6 have harvested more than 50% of their cultivation, with region 5 harvesting exactly 50%. Over the years, the industry has been resilient, seeing significant increases in its first crops. The over 530 tons of paddy projected to be produced this year is set to outstrip paddy production in 2017, which was recorded at 518,667 metric tons. For InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
Key stakeholders were sensitized at the Ministry of Business hosted workshop on the regime and consultation of the draft Movable Property Bill at the Marriott Hotel. Crystal Stahl has more.
The Inter-American Development Bank-funded project aims to allow the use of movable property as collateral when seeking to access finance. Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin said the workshop is intended to sensitize stakeholders on the draft Movable Property Bill.
It involves the setting up of a register of property, of movable property, at the commercial registry. A consultant has been engaged to look at the legislation, and he is presenting a draft today. and some stakeholders are present. Many of them are lawyers, and to actually look at the draft and make comments and recommendations on how to improve it and how to make it more suitable and appropriate for our situation.
Minister Gaskin added that the bill aims to reduce the lack of access to finance, especially for persons without immovable properties.
This piece of legislation allows persons to borrow using other forms of collateral, movable forms, such as a car, a fridge, accounts receivable, livestock, crops if you're a farmer, and various other types of assets. So it really broadens the base of assets that can be used to secure loans.
The Secure Transaction Regime project is one that builds on an earlier government initiative from 2016. It will see the establishment of a modern electronic registry for registering movable property, the training of staff, improved levels of security, better risk management, reduced transaction costs and time when conducting businesses. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
Harmony Village opened on April 12. Renetta LaFleur was there and filed this report.
Cultural dances, songs and poems were among some of the captivating performances that entertained those gathered at Main Street for the opening of the anticipated Harmony Village. Minister of Social Cohesion Dr. George Norton told the audience that to fully appreciate Guyana's rich diversity, persons must have pride in themselves.
The key to us embracing diversity and promoting tolerance is to be proud of ourselves, of our culture, to be proud of our traditions, ethnicities, religions, and all the things that make us who we are as individuals. From that, we can begin to appreciate the differences and similarity of those around us.
The Harmony Village was first launched in 2017. Coordinator Sharon Patterson said since its introduction, networks and bonds have been forged.
We have used last year's experience to deepen existing relationships with partners and to establish new ones. This is evident here today, as last year we had 46 tents. The number of tents today is 103, with 98 organizations represented.
Both public and private organizations participated in the event.
I'm hoping that the village makes people aware of the things that Guyana has to offer, not only in psychology, but in the various cultures, in the various diasporas of Guyana, and to bring a cohesion, bring love and unity.
The minimum expectation what we have, people will come and visit and they learn about Islam, and some of the things which we're not aware about Islam, they may have information.
The whole idea is bridging gap and, just building, relationship among persons of diverse background, be it your ethnicity, be it your religion.
This spectacular event is held under the theme Building Partnerships, Promoting Community and National Cohesion. From Harmony Village on Main Street, Renetta LaFleur reporting for InfoHub.
Also on April 12, former Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh and former head of the National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited NISL Privatization Unit Winston Brassington were given until early next month to make an appearance in connection with the allegedly illegal sale of 3 plots of land for a total of more than 900 million Guyana dollars. According to the charges, former Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh and former NISL Chairman Ed Brassington on May 14, 2011, by way of an agreement of sale and purchase, acted recklessly when they sold Multi-Cinema Guyana Incorporated a 10-acre tract of state land at Turkine for $185,037,000 Guyana dollars without first having procured a valuation from a competent valuation officer. They are also accused of selling 103 acres of state land by an agreement of sale and purchase to National Hardware Guyana Limited for $598,659,398 VAT exclusive without first procuring a valuation. The third and similar charge concerned the sale of 4.7 acres of land for $150 million Guyana dollars to Skady Business Corporation, knowing that the said property was valued at $340 million Guyana dollars. The case was adjourned to May 7, 2018 to allow the defense lawyers to contact their clients concerning the charges. The 8th Summit of the Americas began on Thursday. Tiffany Rogers is in Lima, Peru, and filed this report.
Second Vice President and Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge says Guyana's achievement in the fight against corruption will be highlighted during the summit.
Guyana, for example, would wish to share with the others the initiatives that we have embarked on in relation to dealing with corruption, trying to ensure accountability as regards this area in a manner consistent with the broader principles.
In 2017, Guyana moved 17 spaces up on the Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index. Since assuming office in 2015, the APNU-AFC administration has introduced a number of measures to tackle corruption in public office. These include the passage of legislation such as the State Asset Recovery Act, the establishment of the Public Procurement Commission, and the facilitation of a number of forensic audits in state agencies. Minister Greenidge notes that the summit is also an opportunity for the region as a whole to share ideas and approaches to address the challenges it faces in the fight against corruption.
I think at the same time a number of new governments are in place, and new relative to the last summit, and it is important that those changes, the governments and their approaches, be reflected in the way we tackle the problem. So you have those sorts of institutional changes in governments against a very uncertain background.
Minister Greenidge will be representing President David Granger at the Summit of the Americas meeting, which is being held at the Lima Convention Center on April 13 and 14.
The President at this time, I think, feels that he has some urgent and unfinished business to attend to in Guyana. As you know, he's spent the last 8 or so weeks traveling and paying some special attention to challenges on the frontiers.
Today, the Summit Implementation Review Group, SIRG, met to consider and adopt a draft Lima commitment, which is in line with the summit's central theme, democratic governance against corruption. The Summit of the Americas is a meeting of more than 30 world leaders from Latin America, the Caribbean, USA, and Canada. The aim of the summit is to jointly seek solutions to improve the lives of citizens across the Americas.
On Friday, Finance Minister Winston Jordan announced that Guyana's economic performance remained positive despite performing slightly below projections. Paul McAdam has the details.
At his first 2018 media briefing, Finance Minister Winston Jordan revealed that the gross domestic product grew by about 2.1% for the 2016 to 2017 fiscal year. This lower than expected result occurred from poorer than initially projected sector performances.
Sugar, we had budgeted at 208,000 tons. Came in at only 137,307 tons. Rice did quite well. We had budgeted 600,000 tons. Rice came in at 630,104 tons. Bauxite, that also didn't do quite well. We had budgeted 1,726,008 tons. Bauxite came in at 1,459,223 tons.
Minister Jordan added that gold's performance was disappointing.
Gold we budgeted at 694,000 ounces. Gold came in at 653,674 ounces. 674. And forestry did reasonably well. The forestry sector is now showing signs of recovery after lapse over the previous 2 years. Forestry, we budgeted 318,000 cubic meters. Forestry came in at 349,900 cubic meters.
According to the minister, the economy has not changed much over the last 5 decades, as it continually depended on the performances of one or two main products, which in turn relied on the international prices paid for them. He cited rice as one example.
Trinidad bought our rice at unbelievable prices, so to speak, and that caused production to expand as usual. As you know by now, the Venezuelan market is no longer available officially. Officially, the Venezuelan market is no longer available, and therefore the rice industry declined a little bit, but in a short space of time, it is able to rebound to such an extent that this year we're looking hopefully at significant improvement, even on the 2017. And for the forage crop already, you would have noticed in the papers that it has been doing quite well.
Minister Jordan added that fiscal revenues remained exceptionally buoyant and expenditure was held in line. This, he noted, has resulted in a deficit to GDP, which is less than the previous fiscal year and slightly smaller than projected, which he explained that in any scenario is good news. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.